Hello, welcome to the Age of Sigmar Stat Center. I'm your host, Rob. This is where we look at the event results from all around the world and we look at ongoing trends and we see what's been popping off. If we take a look at this week, there was over 650 people playing Age of Sigmar this weekend, over 12 different events, 9 different countries: Philippines, Sweden, Austria, Spain, Canada, England, Germany. Germany had the biggest event this year with the biggest event this week with 200 people battling out, which is pretty amazing. Great community. That'll be the first event we cover. If you're looking to see, if you're excited about what we're going to see our first ever Hellsmiths of a Shut 4-1 at a 2-day event, which is great. The coveted first ever Hellsmiths of a Shut 5-0 is still on the table, which is very cool. You're going to see a lot of Skaven, you can see a lot of Nighthorn, you're going to see a lot of Flesh Eater Courts. But there's a bunch of really fun stuff in here as well. There's some really unique Daughters of Cain lists. There's some fun Cruel Boys lists. There's some really fun Iron Jaws and Stormcast lists as well. So there's lots of really fun stuff in here. So hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Let's get into it. So our first event this week is the Raccoon Rumble 2025 Age of Sigmar event with 200 people, making it the 6th biggest event that we've ever had, which is pretty impressive. So shout out to everyone in Germany. This is its 4th year, and it has grown year on year to become an absolutely massive affair. They go from not only absolutely amazing terrain layouts that you can see here, they have their own website for tracking stuff, which is very, very cool. Tabletop Herald, which we'll be looking at in the moment when we look at the lists. They also, obviously, 3rd year at this venue, clearly make a lot of effort to make everything look as impressive and cool as it can. Big trophies for everyone who win the event. Absolutely ludicrous golden tickets. The size of these. I think Willy Wonka even would be proud of those. So as you can see, a fantastic event. If you get the chance, it happens every year. I don't know if 200 is the cap. Maybe they can get even more people in the future. And I'll link any socials and stuff in the comments below if you'd like to check it out. So if we go and look at the event with 200 people, this is going to be an absolutely insane amount of armies to look at. Absolutely mental. So I don't know how far I'll go, but if we take a look at the undefeated, we can see that they played 6 rounds with 200 people, still resulting in 3 people who won all 6 games. So in my opinion, all 3 did as well as each other. So congratulations to Timo, Alexander and Dominic. So we were looking at Skaven and Nighthorn at the top. Unfortunately, Nighthorn, if we take a look at the list, isn't super exciting. We have got a Quicksilver Geese list with Restless Energy and Scouting Force. We got Lady Alinda. Then we have 4 units of Pyregeist, a Cruel Gas Cruciator, another unit of Pyregeist, a Scourging Around Black Coach, a Lord Vitriolic, and 2 more units of Pyregeists. So I think it's fair to say they're too cheap. They need to be impacted by a balance update. Hopefully we see that around Christmas. But congratulations to Timo. Great result. And as you can see, a devastating series of results here. A lot of points put on the board. Absolutely massive. Alexander was running Skaven with the Flesh Meld Menagerie. And sorry, I'm just still learning this website. And was running a list called the One and Only Horned Rat Approved Winning List. Was running Scouting Forces Restless Energy with a Grey and Screaming Bell, with a Brood Terror, a soggy version, 2 units of 6 Rat Ogres, 3 Storm Fiends, and then a Plague Priest on Plague Furnace, 20 Plague Monks, and 20 Clan Rats. The common thing we've seen here is this kind of increase in the Plague Priest and Plague Monks, as well as just generally Skaven being more and more popular every time. And then if we look at Dominic Sheehan, they were running Skaven again in the Flesh Meld Menagerie, running a list called Roger, with Master of the Pass and Scouting Force, with a soggy Greyseer and Screaming Bell, 2 reinforced units of Rat Ogres, a soggy Brood Terror, a reinforced unit of Giselles, which also have become popular recently. And there you can see it, the Plague Monks and the Plague Priest on Plague Furnace, and the Clan Rats as well. So double Skaven and Nighthorn. I think Skaven is going to be a consistent theme that we see over the course of this week. Last week, we couldn't stop talking about Skaven everywhere. My event I ran this weekend, Skaven everywhere. So they are just very, very punchy right now. They're very, very cool. Right, if we look at 1 draw and 5 wins, which is an incredible result for Colin. Colin was running Ocean Bone Reapers with the Mortars and Council. I was running a list called You Shall Not Pass, which was Catacross, running Restless Engine Scouting Force with Catacross, a reinforced unit Mortis Guard, 2 Necropolis Stalkers, a soggy Mortars and Bone Shaper, Mortars and Soul Reaper, a reinforced unit of Necropolis Stalkers, and then Mortars and Soul Reaper and a reinforced unit of Necropolis Stalkers. Now we've actually seen, so that does take us up to, what is that, 18 Necropolis Stalkers in this list. Very much like the Pyre guys, they're crazy efficient at the points level they're at now. So I think that's why we're seeing them see so much play. But Bone Reapers kind of had like a very like, they all turn up in one weekend and then we don't see them for a couple of weeks. So that's great as well. Now we're going to start looking at the 4-1s. I was wrong. Sorry. I'm actually going to be looking through the 5-1s, not the 4-1s. The 4-1s, you are out of here. So look at the 5-1s, just before we go any further. We've got Flesh Eater Courts, Carriage and Overlord, Skaven. Skaven apparently lost in the final to the Nighthorn. Otherwise, it would have been triple Skaven at the top. So Skaven, Stormcast Eternals, Seraphon. Very excited for that. Flesh Eater Courts, LRL, Flesh Eater Courts, Disciples of Tzeentch, Sylvaneth, Nighthorn, Daughters of Cain, Flesh Eater Courts again, Sylvaneth, and Maggotkin of Nurgle. So very cool to see Sylvaneth in here. Very excited. More than once. DOT, so Disciples of Tzeentch, LRL, FEC. Seraphon's going to be really exciting to look at. So congratulations. All right, let's look. So Max Bauman was running Flesh Eater Courts and was running a list called the Fast and the Delirious, which was running Restless Energy, Incept and Recover with Usran, Reinforced Unit Crypt Horrors, Reinforced Unit Crypt Guard, some Royal Beast Flares, then an Abhorrent Ghoul King, a Royal Terrorgeist, and then a Royal Zombie Dragon, an Abhorrent Cardinal in the list as well. Obviously, FEC, I think, are really up there at the moment. They're in that top tier of armies. Super, super good. And nothing really surprising there. Max is such an effective player. Very good. Eric Waller was running a Carriage and Overlords army and was running a list called How to Get Rid of Them, a 5-round roller coaster to prove a point that you don't need an Ironclad to lose against a bunch of bobby cars. It's also a 6-round event. So, right, entering his Guild Expeditionary Force with Restless Energy and Master of the Paths, with Brock, an Arcanaut Company, a Frigate, double Sky Wardens, a Null Chemist, Arcanaut Company, a Soggy Gunstruck Gunhauler, some Volgrim Salvagers in the list as well. Okay, no big boat, as he pointed out, and we've got ourselves one boat. We've got the double Gunhauler Reinforced, and that's it. And I'm making this up. Salvagers, double Gunhauler, Company Chemist, Sky Wardens, a Frigate. There it is. I was missing a Frigate. There's the Frigate. Okay, great. Okay, so going for more the combat orientation. Great work, Eric. Great result. Pascal Weimer was running Skaven, Fleshmeld Menagerie with Restless Energy Scouting Force, with a list called 12 Ogres and 6 Snipers. With a soggy Great Serum Screaming Bell with 12 Rat Ogres, 6 Chazales, and then a soggy Brood Terror, Plague Priest on Plague Furnace, Clan Rats, and Plague Monks. Perfect. Great, we love that. More Skaven in the mix. Skaven definitely the winners at the moment. Then we have Stormcast Eternals, ran by Stylianios, and was running for Stormcast Eternals a list called the Narrative List, which was a Lightning Echelon with Aetherort Machineries, with a soggy Iridan the Witness, a reinforced unit of Concussors, a unit Quest of Soulsworn, some Storm Coven, some Paladors with Starstrike Javelins, a Relictor, Liberators and Vigilers, and then the Stormreach Portal. So that's everything in his list. Stormcast definitely been really bumped up by Iridan the Witness right now. Very popular. Those Concussors have become very efficient. And those Vanguard Paladors with Starstrike Javelins. And, that's 25% of an army, and they are just that good. So, you're going to keep seeing those because they're not going to go out of this edition, apparently. Their rules are just too good. Like, their rules are just so much more efficient than other units in that book. So, Stormcast has that problem. Then we have Seraphon, Shadowstrike Starhost, so maybe we see Skink Max in. This is a Raptidons list, that's what it's called, with Shadowstrike Starhost, and it is running Restless Energy Scouting Force with a Slan, Bistonnel with Arcasile Tech, 2 units of Raptidon Hunters, some Saurus Guard, Soggy, Carnosaur, and Old Blood, Raptidon Chargers, all reinforced. I fucking called it. Genuinely, when I do the Battle Scroll updates, I need more people to listen. I told you would Skink Max. People Skink Max. Here we are. It's happening. It's happening. I did it even during the... Doesn't matter. You don't need to know I'm great. That's not what this is about. This is about other people being great. Specifically, Nicholas Berg. Nicholas Berg, great work. Incredible job. You're a superstar. Then we got Mirko Bois running Flesh Eater Courts with the Royal Menagerie, with a list called FEC Monster Mash with battle traits. So he's running Intercept and Recover and Restless Energy with a Boron Ghoul King Royal Terrorgeist, Royal Zombie Dragon, Felgrin, 2 units of Beast Flayers, Boron Ghoul King Royal Zombie Dragon, triple Terrorgeist. So 5 monsters in this list and a bunch of dudes to go hold objectives. This is going to continue to be good, I think, through most of the edition, so you could pick that up. LRL, being organized by run by Robert Bock, was running a list called We're Foxy and We Know It, which was running Restless Energy and Master of the Past with Severith, Wind Spirit, Eleanor Elethor, some Blade Lords, another unit of Blade Lords, both of those are reinforced, an Enlightener, and then a Soggy Light Voltharion as well. So a big central line, and then these 2 incredibly fast units, the Wind Spirit and Severith, for taking objectives. Very cool. LRL just out there. Only lost the final game as well. Lucas, on the other hand, was on a big submarine from the beginning, running Flesh Eater Courts, the Royal Hunt, and was running a list called Bat Day with Wrathful Cycles and Scouting Force, with Usharan, 2 reinforced units of Crypt Guard, a Crypt Haunted Courtier, and a Boron Cardinal, Ghoul King of Terrorgeist, and 10 Beast Flayers running around. So great work on that front. That's more FEC in the mix, doing really, really well. Then we have got... Oh, sorry, this website is trying to fuck me. Then we've got Marcus Perfect... Oh, just Marcus, running Disciples of Tzeentch with a Weird Flame host with a list called AAA Tzeentch. And he was running Intercept and Recover and Wrathful Cycles with Kairos, Zangor Enlightened Undiska Tzeentch, Zangor Reinforced, Zangor Shaman, Ogroid Thaumaturge, double Zangor again, reinforced. So for a total of 60 Zangor in this list. So yeah, just absolutely solid. I guess it's like, what if our boys were fast and also did damage as a list and also had Destiny dice? So yeah, I think this definitely is a way that Disciples of Tzeentch can do really well, but they just need that kind of like power to them. Then we have, so that's Marcus. Congratulations to Marcus. Then we have Sylvaneth, love to see this, run by Pascal Dijon. And he was running a list called Holzenhammerthode, which was Intercept and Recover and Restless Energy with Alariel, Belthanos, Tree Rev, Spirit of Durthu, Lady of Vines, and Soggy Drycha in the list as well. So all Monster Mash. Such a great list. It's been a good list since the beginning of 4th, actually. So you could have painted that up a year and a half ago and had a great time. Very excited for the Sylvaneth Battle Tome. Hoping they don't change too much, weirdly. We'll see. Daniel Pommer was running Nighthorn and was running Quicksilver Geese, loads of Pyregeists. Well done to Daniel. That's a great job. Then we have Daughters of Cain, run by Lucas Wagner, running a list called... nothing, it doesn't say, but he had Scouting Force of Restless Energy, and then we had Soggy Caressa, 2 units of Sisters of Slaughter with Bladed Bucklers, that were reinforced unit of Witch Elves with Paired Knives, Scourging Grand Bloodrack Shrine, Doomfire Warlocks, Slaughter Queen and Cauldron of Blood, and 2 units of K-Knight Shadow Stonkers. So double teleport, everything else fights. Daughters of Cain, like I said during the update, are still in an amazing position. Peter Haring running Flesh Eater Courts, Impassioned Serfs as a battle formation with a list called Please Don't Shoot Me. Running Restless Energy and Intercept to Recover, he had Ushran, Crypt Horrors, Crypt Guard, and Crypt Guard all reinforced. A Boron Ghoul King or Terrorgeist, Royal Zombie Dragon, a Boron Cardinal, all in the list as well. So just that Boron Ghoul King or Royal Terrorgeist, definitely combo with Ushran. That's a horrible front line. Very, very tough to challenge. Then you have Sylvaneth again, run by Christopher Gilles, running Lords of the Clan, with a list called Alariel Coffee Talk, with Master Path and Restless Energy, Alariel Soggy Garan, Seekers, Durthu, Branch Witch, Scourging Grand Drycha, Spite Revs that reinforce, and a War Song Rev as well. So very cool. Congratulations. Very cool. More Sylvaneth in there. We've got Maggotkin and Nurgle is our last 5-1 with a list called Zero, Behold My Affliction. Master of Pass and Wrathful Cycles, Lord of Afflictions, Lord of Afflictions, Lord of Afflictions, Harbinger Decay, Harbinger Decay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Lord of Afflictions. We saw this last week as well. The Lord of Affliction spam is here. Congratulations. Yeah, Michael won last week, the Threshold Tactics event. Great job to him. The real winner here, though, is the German scene. That's what it has to be. I know a bunch of people traveled from some of the other nations over to this event, but this to see Raccoon Rumble go from something that the TO spoke to me about 4 years ago to go to this barnstormer, massive convention style event where the community comes together to build this amazing thing is exactly what Age of Sigmar has always been about since Edition 0, when we made up our own points to doing our own terrain maps. This is why Age of Sigmar is so good, because in comparison to anything GW produces, it's just good. It's well run, it's well organized, everything looks great, and you can see from this picture alone the effort put in by everybody. And I think the German scene and the German community should be incredibly proud of themselves. So that's the real winner from the Raccoon Rumble, the friends we made along the way. Our next event is the World Championships of Warhammer 2025. This is Games Workshop's unique golden ticket event, or golden pyramid scheme is what I like to call it, but that's because I'm a hater and always will be. Anyway, this was an event where you could win a golden ticket, and either you paid for it or someone else paid for it for you to travel to Atlanta to go and play with a group of other people that won some events all over. Who knows? I don't really know what the criteria are anymore, and I don't care. But the point is, 143 people got together internationally and played against each other, which is very cool, and I hope they all had a really wonderful time. You played 2 games a day for 4 days. The way that this worked was you played the first 4 games for the first 2 days, and then the winner of each group, because you got broken into groups, the top 2 winners of each group was then taken into a winner's bracket, and those 16 people played to be the champions. They did also live stream those games as well. Yes, I could talk about that a lot, but anyway, they live stream those games, and you can go watch them, which is very cool. And importantly, the 2 final people, which is the only people I'm going to talk about, because the rest of the system is confusing, is Jean-Baptiste Ames from France, and also Martin Feingold from France. So that's right, the French. Now, don't forget, America won the Team World Championship just this year, earlier in the year. So you would have hoped the Americans would have been able to bring that, but it turns out the French were able to bring all of the power with them. I want to say a special shout out to the French players. Games Workshop last year were very vehement in that using chess clocks, or as they like to call them, split time devices, were not something that you would be able to use at a World Championship event. Or game. One of the things it's also worth talking about is that generally it's considered, if you're playing high-end competitive Age of Sigmar, that you use a chess clock. I get a fair amount of time, you get a fair amount of time. That's how it works. It's incredibly good. It's so worthwhile. Anyone who disagrees with me about that, you're just wrong, and you have no good reason you don't want to use clocks other than you want more time than your opponent, which isn't fair and will never be fair. But the French, being the rebels that they are, put a chess clock in the middle during the final round. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. So great job to both Martin and also Jean-Baptiste. I hope you had a great game, and I'm sure you would have been very proud that 2 French players were in the top final together, which is good. And also, it's kind of surprising what's in there as well. We've got Sanesh, and we've also got Gloomspite Gitz. Now, I'm not personally surprised by Gitz, as I talked about on the Battle Scroll update, the addition of those new Sunstealer Wheelers. And if we take a moment to look at the game, you can see this bottom right-hand corner. You can see those Sunstealer Wheelers that are here. And also, I have been talking to you a lot about Slaanesh. It can be good if you just run Glutos and you run a bunch of Painbringers, which is what you see right here. These are the armies which definitely are the list that run well. I would say that if you're going to run Slaanesh, the biggest problem is the hobby barrier. That's the biggest hobby barrier. The biggest barrier is hobby. They're hard to hobby and get on the board. With Gits, it's generally an issue that like Gits are also hard to play. And Gits did not win. So shout out to Jean-Baptiste Ames for winning with Hedonites to Slaanesh, and Martin for coming second with Gloomspite Gits. So let's take a look at Jean-Baptiste's list. His list was Alanta, stick them with the pointy end Beji. That's the name of his list. Running Invaders and Master the Path and Intercept and Recover. With Siggy, Bliss Barb Archers that were reinforced, unit of Fiends, a Lord of Hubris, a reinforced unit of Twin Souls, Glutos, then the Soggy Garan Slangor Fiend Bloods. So these are the updated Fiend Bloods, which are super effective. And we saw that earlier in the year. And then double unit of Simbramesh Twin Souls. So, 20 Twin Souls in the list. A reinforced unit of archers, Sigvald and Glutos, running as a big castle build, is very, very punchy. Congratulations to Jean-Baptiste. I'm sure he's over the moon. So that's an amazing result, so you should be happy. Martin, also an amazing result, in my opinion, with a list called Control. Running the Squigalanch with Restless Energy, Intercept and Recover. We've got Fungoid Cave Shaman. We've got 1, 2, 3 reinforced unit of Boingrots. Soggy Garan Spore Splat Fanatics. Talked about how good they are. Squig Boss. Double Boingrot Bounders for 50 Boingrot Bounders. Moonclan Stabbers reinforced as well. We talked about how good they are. They're so cheap at the moment as well. Obviously, you get a lot of mobility from the Boingrots. Snarboss and War Wheeler, and then those fun 4 Sunstealer Wheelers with that new Battle Scroll update, giving them that redeploy, which is also crazy effective. They took the most broken rule from 3rd edition Age of Sigmar that the Foxes used to have for LRL, and they gave it to the Sunstealer Wheelers, and that took this army all the way through to the final, which is a pretty meteoric run if you think about it. Like, only a few weeks ago, we saw that Battle Scroll update to get all of this ready on the table and get it used. That's great work from Martin. But Jean-Baptiste, great job as well. Glutos and the Twin Souls. This is an incredibly hard army to play. It requires a lot of thoughts, and I can't imagine the pressure of playing on the 4th day, 24 hours of Age of Sigmar over the course of 4 days to then have to make sure you make all of those decisions right. So it's a great result. Hope everyone had a great time, though. I'd like to see the event somewhere else next year. I think that would be really good for the community for lots of different reasons. I think that was good. I think there were some stats that only 40% of the people in attendance were not North American at this event. And that's obviously no criticism to the North Americans. North America has some of the largest events, LVO, Adepticon, every single year. NashCon teams, shout out to NashCon, has events every year. So it'd be really nice to see that somewhere else. Maybe it's more accessible to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons, which I think would be really good. That's the event. Hope to see it change in the future. Also hope Games Workshop pay for every single person to travel next time, because they should. They're a multi-billion-pound company. Our next event takes us to Canada for Grudgefest GT 2025, organized by Kyle. Shout out to Kyle for organizing the event. What a Chad. It took place here at the Douche House German-Canadian Club in Alberta. So if you're around Alberta in Canada and you want to play some Warhammies, this is the kind of place it might be happening. Lethbridge. For all those people who don't know. Let's take a quick overview of what happened at the event. Well, with 50 people playing, we have 2 people undefeated. We've got Disciples of Zinch and Cities of Sigmar. And look in the 4-1 section, we've got Seraphon, Flesh Eater Courts, Deepkin, Slaves to Darkness, Iron Jaws, very exciting to see them in there, and Gloomspite Gits. So, very different. No Skaven, like we've seen before. Flesh Eater Courts still popping up. Slaves to Darkness, that's exciting. Iron Jaws, that's exciting as well. So, pretty disparate. If we take a look at the list, we've got Cole Windsor. Shout out to Cole for going 5-0 with a list called Grudgeathon 24/7. Shout out to all my favorite haters, people that don't necessarily hate me, but people who hate others with such a passion that inspires me to hate more. Shout out. Shout out. Shout out to Kendrick, a true hater. All right, so well done, Cole. Love you, bud. That's great. Or hate you, bud. Whatever you prefer. Running Weird Flame Host with Wrathful Cycles and Restless Energy. With Kairos, 2 Burning Chariots, Chaos Spawn and Zinch, and some pink horrors that are reinforced. Then a Lord of Change, 2 units of blue horrors that are also reinforced as well. Now, this is making me look like an idiot and a hater, because obviously one of the things I was saying about Disciples of Zinch is that they're so good with the Zangor build right now. It feels like that is very common, and very rarely, but we still do sometimes see the demon build. And here you can see Cole doing really well with it. It's a great result. Well done, Cole. Dan Kapusta also went undefeated with his Cities list called Cities 2K, Grudgefest. Restless Energy and Master the Paths with Frigo Cavalier, 2 Ironwell Great Cannons, a Scorching Grand Frigo Cavaliers that reinforced, Steam Tank Commander, Callison Toll, Battle Mage on Hurricanum, Fusiliers, and a reinforced unit of Steel Helms with a Frigo Marshal Relic Envoy, Frigo Command Corps, and World of Corp Hunters. So actually started to move away from like triple cannon. You're not seeing that. Steam Tank Commander is like kind of a new addition into these AOS lists that are doing really well. Sorry, cities lists that are doing really well. The Hurricanum, also weirdly we've seen a couple of times, but also unique. But that is a great list. In fact, actually, both lists are pretty inspired. So congratulations to both Cole and Daniel. Right, if we take a look at the 4-1 list, we've got Michael Nomura, running a list called Seraphon Sucks, so I brought KO. Running a Thunderquake Starhost list with Restless Energy and Wrathful Cycles, with Soggy Saurus Oldblood on Carnosaur, Engine of the Gods Stegodon, Stegodon Chief, Bastillodon with Arcosotech, Sync Oracle on Troglodon, Stegodon, and then the Regiment of Renown, Drekki's Privateers, which isn't even the most common KO Regiment of Renown. Drekki, Flynn, and Arcanaut Company in a frigate. What the? So Monster Mash Seraphon, and also a random Corn ROR. Not Corn, KO ROR. Michael, great result. Dayton O'Bray, one of the best people I know. I'm running a list called Just Call Me Guillermo del Toro because I want to fuck all these monsters. Why does he want to fuck all the monsters? I don't know. Anyway, running a list called a Fleshy Courts list of the Royal Hunt with Deceptor Recover and Scout Force, running a Boron King Royal Terrorgeist, Crypt Haunted Courtier, Crypt Horrors Reinforced, Crypt Horrors, a Boron Art Regent, double Crypt Ghouls, Crypt Guard Reinforced, High Falcon of Felgrin, and 2 units of Beast Flayers. Well, great work. Not actually that many monsters. I suppose Crypt Horrors are monstrous, but they're not monsters. Especially not what we've seen when we've seen like 7 big dragons running around. A great result, Dayton. Love you, bud. We've got Riley running a list called I'm Dishonest, and a dishonest man you can always trust to be dishonest. Honestly, it's the honest ones you watch out for. That's me. Because you can never predict what they're going to do. Something incredibly stupid. That is a quote from a movie. What movie is that? Either way, he's running Idnet Deepkin, Achillean Beastmasters, Restless Energy and Interceptor Recover with an Achillean King, an Achillean Leviathan, Icon of the Sea, another Leviathan, double Leviathan, baby. Right? Yeah, it's from Pirates of the Caribbean. Of course it is. Bum, bum, ba bum, bum, ba bum, bum, ba bum. Sorry for putting that brain worm in your ear. Dun, 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 dun. Running an Achillean King, Leviathan, double Leviathan, Icon of the Sea, Ishling Guard, Eidolon of Mathlan, Aspect of the Sea, Tidecaster, and a 1 unit of Thralls. So what we're seeing here is like Monster Mash Deepkin, and it doing really well. Well done to Riley. Great job. Then we've got Dom Elsom running a list called Nothing. And it's a Legion of the First Prince, Slaves to Darkness list, Restless Energy and Wrathful Cycles, with Be'lakor, Reinforced unit of Bloodletters, Reinforced unit of Bloodletters, Reinforced unit of Flamers of Zinch, Eternus, Chaos Furies, and Chaos Legionnaires. Wow. Fantastic result. Fantastic result from Dom. Great job. Then we've got James Rennick running a list called Godrak's Bounce, House of Fists and Hooves, which was a Uruk Warclans Iron Jaws Brute Fist list with Intercept and Recover and Master the Paths. With Godrak, Reinforced unit of Brutes, Reinforced unit of Brutes, a Mega Boss, a Tusk Boss on More Grunter, and then a Weird Knob Shaman, More Grunter Gouger, War Chanter, and then a Reinforced unit of Weird Brute Wreckers. Fantastic to see double Brutes out there doing the work. And then still a bunch of monsters. I think the big pigs are cheap enough now. Tusk Boss and More Grunter is a great unit for 240 points. So I'm surprised no one spammed that. as a unit. Just spam Tusk Boss. What, can you get 8 in a list? Feels pretty solid to me. And then we have Quinn Hines running a list called Why Don't You Go Where the Fangs Fits Put In on the Gits? A Gloomspite Gits Squiggalanch list with Attuned to Ground and Restless Energy. And then we've got Scragrot, Double Doom Diver Catapult, Squigherd Reinforced and a Reinforced Unit Sunsealer Wheelers, Rabble Rouser, Gobblepalooza, then Squigboss and Nasher Squig, and then Squigherd, all reinforced for triple Squigherd. So Git's definitely up in that A tier now, definitely. But they don't seem to be dominating, which is kind of interesting. So Sunsealer Wheelers have brought up the army, but haven't put them right at the top. Either way, it looks like it was a great event run by a great group of people. I hope they all had a wonderful time, and I hope to see more and more Canadian events because they just seem to have such a fun time doing it. Our next event takes us to Spain. So buenos dias to everybody over there for the GT Zaragoza Puno de Sigmar event organized by Atelier Vigia. And I will continue with these pronunciations as I go. In the undefeated bracket, we have Eduard Sanchez with Daughters of Cain and Danny Buska with Cruel Boys. Okay. Which is great. And if we look at the 4-1 section, we've got Cities of Sigmar, Nighthaunt, Disciples of Tzeentch, Iron Jaws as what we've got popping off. So Daughters of Cain up here again. Cruel Boys, great. So Eduardo Sanchez, let's go and look at his list. Running a list called Hijas Cruetha, which was a Daughters of Cain, Restless Energy Interceptor Recover list with Morathi, High Gladiatrix, double Witch Elves with Paired Knives, Soggy Cruetha, Doomfire Warlocks, double Shadow Stonkers. Such a viable army still. It's great that they've got so many armies that are viable. Then we've got Daniel Alos running a list called GT de Zaragoza, running Master Pass and Restless Energy. This is a Cruel Boys Swamp Horde Bullies list with a Swamp Crawler Shaman, Gut Rippers, both of which are reinforced, a Marsh Crawler Slogoth, and then a Scourge Grand on Killer Boss with Great Gnashtooth, Beastkeeper Killbows, double Monster Killers, Shine Stealers, 2 Snarl Pack Cavalry, double Sunstealer Wheelers, and a Wolfget retinue as well. So interestingly, the Sunstealer Wheelers aren't reinforced, but we have seen the Git Mob portion of we have seen the Git Mob part of the Gloomspite Gits become both popular in its own book and also popular as a regiment. So this adds like a lot of units onto the board, which I think is quite interesting. That double Gut Rippers holding the line for Cruel Boys. And interestingly, it's interesting Cruel Boys pivot over to getting cheaper units from somewhere else when their army itself is very, very cheap. Like those monster killers are still only 120 points. So that's pretty cool. Well done to Daniel. David Martinez was running a list called Panzer Battalion, which is a Cities of Sigmar Master of the Past and Restless Energy list, running veteran cannoneers with with a Frigo Cavalier Marshal, a Steam Tank Commander, very popular at the minute, double Frigo Cavaliers, both of which are reinforced, a Warfare Forger, Callus and Toll, and then Fusel Major and Ogre Warhawk and triple cannon. So very much your traditional Cities of Sigmar list at the moment. Great work to David. That's cool to see. Then we've got Guillermo Porter Garcia running a list called Willy, which is a Nighthaunt Deathstalkers list with Scout Force of Wrathful Cycles, with Lady Alinda, a reinforced unit of Craven Throat Guard, a reinforced unit of Craven Throat Guard, and you're not going to believe this, 2 units of Pyre Guys, and then a Krulgeist Cruciator and double units of Blade Geist Revenants. That were reinforced. So lots of bodies on the board. Not quite the Pyre Geist spam, but definitely Nighthaunt are playable, but they are boring to play. And then Adrian Tujiras was running a list called Nighthaunt que la mitad de la mini son mías. Nailed it. Which is a Nighthaunt Deathstalkers list with Restless Energy and Tuned to Garan with Lady Alinda, double Blade Geist Revenants, a arena unit of Chain Rasps, a Krulgeist Cruciator, and then double Pyre Geist and a Scourging Grand Black Coach. So that's cool to see. Soggy Coach, double Blade Geist again. Nighthaunt definitely in the mix in those top tables. Then we've got Alberto running a list called Demon Prinzincha, which is a Disciples Tzeentch Weird Flame host list with Master Path Wrathful Cycles with Kairos, Carrick Acolytes, not reinforced, Chaos Spawner Tzeentch, Magister on Disc of Tzeentch, Zangor Enlightened on Disc of Tzeentch, Fate Skimmer, Burning Chariot Tzeentch, Flamers of Tzeentch, Screamers of Tzeentch, and also the Demon Prince of Tzeentch. Wow. A lot of units in there. There's a lot of very cheap units that you can just use to just jump and run around on objectives, which I think is kind of key. I'm finding that quite clutch at the moment, just having little units that aren't worth getting when your opponent is investing so much in large units. Having these little units that you can just drop onto objectives and just basically be worthless has its own kind of strength. So well done, Alberto. And then Carlos Lac Garcia was running a list called El Meto Pasado Le Cabeza Fria Las Elfas Trans. No, Lo Enterradas. Copy. Which is a Zogrok's Ironmonger's Oryx War Clan list. So it's the Zogrok's Ironmonger's Army of Renown with a Tune to Garand and Wrathful Cycles. With Zogrok, reinforced unit of Ardboys, 2 small units of Ardboys, reinforced unit of Brutes, and then an Ardboy Big Boss, double Ardboys, War Chanter, Weird Knob, Shaman. Interestingly, you not see that many Ardboy Big Bosses. Is there 2 in this list? Only 1 in this list. And a reinforced unit of Brutes as well. If you don't know, Ardboys get a 5-up ward save in this regiment while they're within range of each other. Pretty effective. Very good. Makes them super good. Anyway, Spanish meta, slightly different to what we've seen everywhere else. Daughters Kane, really good. Crawlboys, really good. That was a cool and fun Crawlboys list. A little bit different to what we've seen before, so I really like that. Cities was classic. Nighthaunts, classic. DOT was very different. That was very cool to see. And Iron Jaws, again in the mix. Iron Jaws just keep hitting 4-1 status, FYI. So just watch out for that. Our next event is in France, but this was a team event. So La Bretagne Allure had over 36 players, which is worth pointing out as well, that there was also a team event at Warhammer World as well, which was 80 players. So congratulations to the players playing at that. And there was also a team event also in England called Six Nations, which was England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, Wales, and Sweden all battling it out. We're also a team event there as well. So there was a lot of international Warhammer this weekend. Raccoon Rumble, WCW, big team events all over. So it's worth pointing that out. Very cool, very fun. The next event is actually my event, which is the Realmgate Rebellion. We had 22 people. I think it's worth shouting out that next year, so for the next 6 months of 2026, I have all of these events on, which you can go and find on the TSN Arena. So I have a bunch of events over Christmas as well. Between Christmas and New Year's Eve, I have a bunch of one-day events, if you'd like to come and join us for that. If not, we have 2-day 2,000-point match play events all through all the way until June. So we've got 9 of those. They're called Realms. And if you want to come join us, tsnarena.com. That's where you can go find them. This weekend, we had 22 people battling it out. We can only have 26 people. Also, next year, I should be starting to stream and also record the events as well, which is pretty exciting. So hopefully you'll see a lot of those in the future, and let me know if you are excited about those. So obviously, as it was my event, it was an amazing event. But actually, I want to shout out a bunch of different people. I want to shout out Thomas, and I also want to shout out Dagfin for traveling over from Norway for the event, which is pretty amazing. And I also want to shout out Hugo, and I want to shout out Daryl, traveling over from the Netherlands for the event as well, which is pretty fun. And also Jimmy from traveling over from Sheffield, because also that was... Anyway, so we had it was really nice. We had maybe 4 people, maybe 5 people. It was their first ever GT or first ever 2-day event, which is always always stresses me out a little bit. I always get a little bit anxious because I want to make sure they're having as good a time as possible. And the Saturday was obviously 4 hours after I'd finished uploading all the videos from the live stream reveal of all of the new Nurgle stuff and all of that. So I was exhausted. So a special shout out to Leighton, who came in as a spare player, and also Toby, who came in to cover me for round 2 so I could have a quick nap. But it was really fun to have a bunch of international team players and also a bunch of new people, and it really showcased that there isn't a bigger divide between those two groups as you would expect. In fact, I tend to find that those people really help each other out, and that created a really great atmosphere, which was nice. So Daryl is our only 5-0 running Skaven. Did a great job defeating his teammate Hugo with the use of time. Congratulations. Daryl definitely also thinks split-time devices are a myth. He was running a a Skaven Gathering of the Clans list with a Restless Engine Scouting Force running a Soggy Great Seer and Screaming Bell, some Night Romaners, double Rat Ogres, and a Soggy Grand Brood Terror. Then a Plague Priest and Plague Furnace, Clan Rats, and double Plague Monks in here as well. So it was a great result. Daryl's such a great dude. So it was really great to see. So that was lovely. Then Jimmy, fantastic Jimmy, running Stormcast Eternals. Funny thing about Jimmy is that, and his list was called Stormin' Norman Stormcast, is that Jimmy runs Skaven almost exclusively as long as I've known him. And then it was so busy. We had so many Skaven players at the event, and then he was not running Skaven, which was fun. Anyway, he's running Stormcast Eternals Vanguard wing list with Scouting Force and Restless Energy. He had Sunstant Prime, Vanguard Paladors with Starstrike Javelins, then double Vanguard Raptors Longstrike Crossbows, but not reinforced, just like 2 units of 3. A unit of Vigilers, and then a Knight Relictor, and then triple Stormstrike Paladors, but not reinforced. And again, in this kind of very MSU build in Vanguard Wing, very unique. Haven't seen a list like it. Very, very cool, and quite different to what you see from a lot of Stormcast lists at the moment. And Jimmy's also just one of them sleeper picks. He plays pretty locally, doesn't travel tons. It is just a solid player and an amazing hobbyist. Rob Morris, also solid player and hobbyist. He also won an award in gaming, sports, and paint, which also meant he ended up winning best overall. So congratulations to Rob. Was running a list called Slanesh with Restless Energy and Master Pass with Glutos, Reinforced Unit of Blitzbarb Archers, Unit of Blitzbarb Seekers, Soggy, Sangor Fiendbloods, Sigvald, and then a Lord of Pain, Mimridash Painbringers, and then double Twin Souls as well. So very much like what we saw in the World Championship. So Rob was talking a lot about how he really thinks that the big major stopgap on why people won't play Slanesh is because of the hobby, but the army is really, really fun to play. So that's cool as well. I want to do a special shout out to Joe with his ogres for doing great. Shout out to Joe for also doing good as well. Also, oh, I nearly forgot. Sons of Behemoth also went 4-1 by Thomas Nyland, all the way from Norway, running a list called Rob's Gargant Stampede with some some gobbos at the side. He said that he only wanted to win with Gargants at my event, so I had to talk about Gargants. So here I am, running Restless Energy and Shunta Garan with King Brod, a Gatebreaker, a War Stomper, and then the Regiment of Renown, Braggots, Bottle Snatchers. And his army was also really cool as well. It was a Nurgle-themed unit of Gargants, so like they all had like tentacles and pustules and stuff. So it was pretty cool for a Gargant army, but obviously gross, because it was a Gargant army. Either way, I had a great time. There was some wonderful people, and events are just great. They inspire me, and I really hope to see you at some of my events next year because they're cool and fun to be at. Okay, our next event is the Hog Towner of Age of Sigmar event, organized by Kieran Kelly. This is taken in East End Toronto, which apparently is not good. I don't know. It seems nice. The Baron Bring Memorial Hall, I think, is where our event was. Anyway, in the undefeated slot, we got Soulblight Gravelords. But ladies and gentlemen, a stat center first. Hellsmiths of Ashut are on the board with a 4-1. Shout out to Garrett Feeling, our first ever Hellsmiths of Ashut 4-1. We still haven't seen a Hellsmiths of Ashut world first 5-0. Waiting to see it. So let's take a look, shall we? We've got Duncan running a list called Made of Meat, the Soulblight Gravelords list, with Wrathful Cycles and Master Pass. We've got Prince Vordry, double Barrow Knights, a White Lord and Skeletal Steed, a Vampire Lord and Nightmare Steed, double Blood Knights, Vengo Lord of Varghese. So not committing to the big units and instead going for multiple small units, but obviously big Vordry in there as well. Vengo Lord so popular at the moment. Absolutely excellent. Love to see it. And our Hellsmith, and special congratulations to Duncan. And then Garrett running a Hellsmiths of Ashut Demonsmith Cabal list with Master Pass and Raffle Cycles. We've got Uruk-Tar, Infernal Cohort, with spears, Infernal Cohort with spears. Then we got double Deathstreaker rocket battery, an Infernal Taurus, a reinforced unit of Bull Centaurs, a Demon Smith, and double units of Hobgrot Vandals. So the combined arms list with Uruk-Tar, as we suspected we'd see. Also waiting to see all these quadruple Bull Centaurs. But don't forget, the lists have only just come out. So that's exciting. Anyway, great event. The Hog Towner in Canada. I hope to see more of those 12 people battling it out. Our next event takes us to Austria for the Badass Bockbeer season opening GT, organized by Christopher Mayer. Shout out to Christopher. We've only got one 5-0 at this event and no 4-1s, and this is Michael Wensling of Los Diablos Desperados running Skaven. Running a list called For Whom the Bell Tolls, which is a Fleshmail Menagerie list with Restless Engine and Scouting Force. We got a Scourgy Grand Gracer on Screaming Bell, double Rat Ogres, a Scourgy Grand on Brood Terror, and a unit of Storm Fiends. Plague Priest on Plague Furnace, Clan Rats, Plague Monks. Let's go. Skaven still in the mix. What is happening? Our next event takes us to Sweden for the Nyköping Wargaming event, War of the Osprey 2025. And there is 1-5-0. We've got Iron Jaws battling out. Dennis Palmgist. Let's go. Iron Jaws, that's great. With this is a Brute Fist battle formation with Restless Energy, Interceptor, Recover, with Mega Boss on Maw Crusher, Tusk Boss on Maw Crusher, Tusk Boss on Maw Grunter, sorry. Reinforced, no, just Ardboys, not reinforced. Then Ardboy Big Boss, Ardboys again. Reinforced unit of Brutes, Weird Knob Shaman. So 40 Ardboys, 10 Brutes, a Mega Boss on Maw Crusher, Tusk Boss on Maw Grunter. All fantastic. That's a great result, actually, for Iron Jaws. And then we've got OC Art Bone Reapers, organized by, ran by a Gaeton Enxar, running a list called I don't know, man. I just throw things at you and I hope for the best, I guess. A Restless Energy Master Pass list with Vought Martian, a Gothazar Harvester, triple Mortek Crawler, Soggy Garan Mortars and Bone Shaper, Harvester, double Mortek Guard, an Ossifector, and a Harvester as well. So double Harvester, double Mortek Guard, 3 Crawlers. Crazy. We did see a couple of weeks ago a big uptick in the amount of Gothazar Harvesters and also Mortek Guard that seemed to just randomly go away, but looks like it's back and is doing super well. Our last event takes us to the Philippines for the, I'm going to say this super wrong, so I apologize about that. The AOD All-Out Davao. So this is in Davao in the Philippines. If you want to go check it out at the Pair of Dice Games and Hobbies store, which is located in Davao. So if you are one of our Filipino listeners, this is a great place you can go and check out. Looks like a whole little venue, which is amazing. Right, so if we go take a look at the results, we can see that we got no 5-0s at this event. And instead, all we got was 2 4-1s. So we've got Glue Spike Gits, played by Justin Go. So shout out to Justin. Running a list called Trug Stop Rolling Wands. Running Scouting Force Restless Energy. This was a Sunbiter pack list with Trug, Danko Trug Boss, Rogger Trugos, Drogs, Snarl Boss, Snarpack Cavalry, Sunstealer Wheelers, Rabble Rouser, Gobblepalooza, and double Soggy Spore Splatter Fanatics. So love to see that. Sunstealer Wheelers not reinforced. Rogger Trugos and Trug in there, great. And again, more and more Git Mob making it out there. And then we've got Eine Deepkin, run by El La Dragux, La Dragu, which was a list called the Cavalry, which was running an Eine Deepkin Achillean Beastmasters list with Scout Force Wrathful Cycles with Eidolon Aspect of the Storm, an Alapex, Morsar Guard, and Morsar Guard. Both of those are reinforced. And then an Achillean King, an Achillean Alapex, an Achillean Alapex, and an Icon of the Storm, and then an Oracle of the Abyss. And thank you to Miles for sending some pictures of everyone playing at the GT. Here you go. Here's some pics. This is what it looks like playing Warhammer in the Philippines. If you ever want to go check it out. Very fun. Running a Serbian national team. Top as well. Very adorable. Some great terrain. Oh, I love the Zilfin Hold. That's a great 3D printed piece of terrain. I love the colored objective markers as well. Great fun. Loads of 3D printers. Very cool. I hope everyone had a good time. Okay, so first off, let's talk about how incredibly successful this weekend was as a gaming. We had team events all over the country and world, which is great, taking us to about 650-ish players, which is good. We had international team tournaments. We had smaller tournaments where international people traveled. We had larger tournaments like the Raccoon Rumble where international people traveled as well. We saw communities building their own massive events like in Germany, and communities building their own small little hubs like we've seen in the Philippines. We've seen Canadian events. Like, it's very, very sweet, actually, and really inspiring. And I find that to be very, very inspiring. So that's great. Looking at the game front, I think there's nothing in here that's been overly surprising, with the exception of seeing some armies make some headway. Like a Legion of the First Prince was a kind of nice little pick. And some of the armies are quite different to how they're normally built. But I wouldn't say there's anything here that feels super cooked. Maybe Skaven at the moment. I feel like they're super cooked. Definitely will get some of those stats back soon, but they feel like that they're definitely gearing towards being too strong in some capacity. That's kind of just how it reads to me at the moment, with some of those armies just up there. But I think if there's one takeaway from this weekend, it should be to be inspired to try and run basically anything that you can. We saw Sylvaneth, Ironjaws, Slaves to Darkness. Maybe not your traditional Slaves to Darkness, but we still saw them as well. OCR Bone Reapers, Fresh Shooter Courts, Nighthaunt, all in attendance. Gargants, unfortunately, but still Gargants. Ironjaws, Cruel Boys, all playing. Ogres, not so much, definitely. But Ogres are getting a new book / model range sometime soon, so I'm hoping to see that changed up. For Order, basically everything in attendance, with very different kind of like builds, different armies. Chaos, pretty much everything as well. So it feels like everything's got a chance. It feels like maybe scenarios are very good for certain armies. It feels like matchups are good for certain other armies as well. It feels very combat orientated, but then occasionally a shooting army will just turn up and do something pretty unique as well. And obviously Skaven got quite a lot of shooting if they want to have it, although they aren't necessarily taking tons of shooting. Rat Ogres can do some, but you often see Giselles and stuff brought in. So it's a really fascinating meta at the moment, in that I don't think there's anything that feels like it's over the top, but some are better. Skaven, good example, I'd say. But give it a few more weeks, and a few more weeks, we'll start moving into the run-up to Christmas, where all the events will slowly start to die down. So we'll see slightly less stuff, and then it'll be a big explosion in January and February, which are always a really big time in the wargaming community. So it'll be really exciting to see that as well. So yeah, I feel like Age of Sigmar feels like it's going from strength to strength from an event perspective. From a community perspective as well, that's also great to see. So yeah, it's kind of like all's good in the world, let's carry on sort of a situation, which is good. I hope you enjoy what I do. You can help support me by joining Patreon if you'd like to, and join our ever-growing community of people, which would be nice. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.